As Prime Minister and Minister of General Affairs, I'd like to update on a couple of topics shortly, but I must reiterate that a written press release on some of the topics will be forthcoming as well. The Kingdom Council of Ministers proposed an initiative via the Prime Minister of the Netherlands about publicizing the agenda and decision points lists from the Kingdom Council of Ministers meetings. This came to our council, and as a council, we have agreed to support this initiative of the RMR, of the Kingdom Council of Ministers, as we feel it would then increase transparency and would require the RMR to be more concise and clear with the decisions that are taken, whereby all can be held accountable. So as such, we applaud this effort and look forward to the increased transparency in Kingdom relations. Also, an update on the trajectory towards the COHO with regard to the Kingdom Consensus Law. As you know, technical discussions have been ongoing between the Kingdom partners. They've exchanged proposed changes to the Kingdom Consensus Law as a result of the advice of the Council of State, and the discussions will continue over into next week, May 10th and 11th, to move forward in terms of the framework and the timeline to deal with these changes. Further to that, it is also noteworthy to mention that if you have been following the dispute regulation, which has been highly and hotly contested over the past years, is being handled in the First Chamber of the Netherlands on July 1st. To that effect, our Minister Plenipotentiary René Vijlinus has been invited, along with a delegation, to be present to present St. Martin's stance on the dispute regulation. Government will be engaging in discussions with Parliament, who have also established a motion for some members to go and represent St. Martin on this delegation. So in order to ensure that we have a cohesive position, we will be engaging with Parliament to ensure that proper preparations are made for the First Chamber meeting of July 1st, in which the members will be traveling. This week, in fact tomorrow, the Department of BOC has been designated by me to represent the government in a webinar in preparation for the establishment of the plastic bag ban, which was an initiative of Parliament. The law, which is aimed at prohibiting the offering of single-use plastics, plastic straw, and styrofoam, is something that we wholeheartedly support as government and are doing all that we have to do on our end, as it requires some further work to move the law forward for implementation. As such, our Department of Interior and Kingdom Relations, which initiated a Plastic Free by 2023 initiative in collaboration with our French counterparts, will be participating in this webinar slated to take place tomorrow, May 6th, from 3 to 5. I would like to take this opportunity to encourage all businesses to register and participate in the webinar so that you get as much information as possible related to how your companies can prepare for the move beyond plastics. St. Martin's, we all know the challenges we have with our landfill, and as much as we can do to minimize our the negative effects on our health, I believe, and especially in advance of the law that will be coming into place, we should all be prepared. Of course, consumers must also be prepared, and I know many already have moved over to using multi-usage bags for their grocery shopping and the like, but of course in some instances you can't always avoid it. Minimizing it is the best way forward, and as such I commend the opportunity to update the general public and business community on this effort, and the Department of BOC representative will be representing government in this webinar. Also, from the Department of BOC, I must update also that there have been 4 envelopes that have been approved by myself as Minister of General Affairs, 4 projects One is the food bank, a governance structure for the food chain supply of a national food bank, which is being funded through EU funding. The second is the Association Caribbean States a strategy for building a tourism crisis in OCTs that is in collaboration with other ministries as well. The CARIRI, a business hatchery program together with the Ministry of TIAT, and marine biodiversity, spatial management of the marine and coastal environment has also been approved. Once approval has been submitted to the Resembit program for funding, then this will be able to be presented as in terms of the execution thereof. So as government, these projects fall in line with our ambitions to build a more resilient island, so the food bank specifically collaborating with other OCTs in terms of building a resilient tourism structure, and of course being surrounded by water. Anything to do with marine biodiversity gets the let's say the funding. There's been a lot put forth for that, and I'm happy that we were able to put forth our first bid to receive funding for such. And I thank the Department of BAC for their initiatives in this regard. I would like to add my comments to that of the Minister of ASI. I must commend him for coming in and not just hitting the ground running, but literally moving at a pace that some people are amazed. I know a lot was already ongoing, but the minister's drive to 85 is wholly supported by the Council of Ministers. I want to remind the general public that though we have been blessed, especially getting the information of the number of variants already over the past few months on the island, that we have not had the type of outbreaks we've seen out there, despite what some may be saying about St. Martin being open and one of the more normal of the Caribbean countries where tourism is concerned. We're happy we're seeing an upsurge in our numbers of visitors as well, but we do not want to see this go the other direction. So even as we do our drive to 85, I would like to encourage the general public to continue to adhere to all of the practices that has kept us safe thus far. Businesses alike. I noticed that we're getting a bit more complacent. Servers in restaurants and other workers must always ensure that they are properly protecting themselves. And as we get closer to 85, and as a matter of fact, I know that businesses can together come up with strategies to encourage their workers to also vaccinate. And those of you out in the general public, look out for our pop-ups so that if you are unable to come to us at our locations at Bel Air and CPS right now, that we will be in the community. This is something we all have to do. Together we can help St. Martin to come back, and I do look forward to us and the full recovery of the persons currently in hospital. This is quite personal for us, and we wish you all and the family much strength and a full recovery, and that no one else goes down that route as we continue to fight the COVID-19 pandemic as all around the world. We've seen what has happened in India. We've seen what has happened in Curacao. Even as Curacao is recovering today, it had a very heavy impact and still has on the individual lives that have been impacted with the number of persons that have passed away. We know what that is already. We do not want to go there any longer. We would really like to beat this, and so I encourage you, the more of us that get vaccinated, I can say now my Council of Ministers has been vaccinated. Nobody was forced. People took their times, and I understand that people are hearing a lot of negative things about the vaccination, but this is scientifically proven. This government would not be supporting something based on trials. This is not a trial, and we ask the general public to put your faith where we have put our faith in going to ensure that we have that 85% herd immunity.